everyone, my name is Makeup by Plumtay and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be playing around with a few new makeup that has just pretty much come out on the market. I do have a variety of products. I think I've got a face, not one. I have a few face products, a few mascaras. I've got two that I really am excited about. So, you know, we're just throwing it all out there, giving them all a go, just playing around with them. And I'm going to show you what they look like. So if you are looking into getting one of these products, maybe this will help encourage you make a decision on if it's really worth it or if there's something else out there that's already better. But before we begin, I would love if you would consider subscribing. I do post every single week, and I would love if you would leave a like. It does help me out a ton. And without further ado, let's test some new makeup. So I do have I have about 3 face products. I've got a new skin tint, which is the big thing all of a sudden, setting spray, and a cheek palette, which I've used a few times and I'm kind of obsessed with. The first product we are going to be using is actually something I've been really excited about, which is strange because I don't usually use these face products, and that is the NYX Buttermelt Glaze, which is a skin tint, and it also has some SPF, which is always good. It's SPF 30, and it says on the back, which I actually didn't know this, 93% skincare formula with niacinamide, mango and shea butter. Yeah, sounds great. I'm using the second shade, which is vanilla bean butter. I do think this is slightly too dark for me, but you know what, I'm hoping, right, when it gets to the summer, I'm gonna tan a little bit and then this will fit me, which is completely wishful thinking because I don't tan, I burn. So this is just going to cover redness. But before I apply that, I'm just going to put on some primer. I'm going to be using the NYX The Face Glue Gripping Primer. And if you haven't already tried this, I highly recommend it. I'm almost finishing it. I think it's one of the only primers that goes well with my oily skin, or like just goes well with it generally, because a lot of the other primers that I've been using are either like too thick. It reminds me of a nice face mask, you know, one of those thin ones. While we're letting that get a bit tacky, I'm gonna show you a bit more of this product. If you are interested, oh, there it is. So if you are interested, this is 30 milliliters. Well, what could I show it against? I have the NYX Ultimate Paradise Shock palette, so it's just slightly bigger than that, but it does feel quite full. And then this is what the packaging looks like. So it is a bit of a thin tip, which I actually quite like. I'm not the biggest fan of pumps when it comes to skin products, which I think is also another thing that deters me away from foundation, because it's just so messy. It just gets everywhere and it just irks me. Okay, we're feeling tacky now, so it's time. I'm probably going to apply too much of this, just as a pre-warning. It just kind of seems like your general everyday foundation. Do you know what? I've just decided I'm going to do it half and half, so then you can see the difference. So it's a very thin formula, which is so good because this is kind of, well, not kind of, it is aimed for the warmer weather. So you don't want that horrible feeling of just a bunch of makeup on your face. Blending it out, I don't feel it on my face at all. And if you are going to be wearing this in the summer, it's got SPF. It's going to help protect you. Right, I think I need a little bit more on the forehead. You know what? In this lighting, the shade is actually looking pretty good. I just think I'm not used to having complete colour all over my face. So this is the side-by-side comparison. This is without the skin tint and this is with the skin tint. I know there's not a huge, massive difference. It's a bit more obvious in real life than it is on the camera. But this is so nice and so natural looking. And as it says, it's only a skin tint, so it's not going to give you the coverage of a concealer or a foundation, but it still gives you so much coverage. I don't know if you saw here, I had a couple of spots that I've just been absolutely shredding to pieces. So I had a big red mark, and that red mark is just gone. It's dipped. So it does have a bit of coverage in it, which is quite nice. I would say it's kind of more of a light to medium coverage. So if you do prefer that, I would advise against this. But if you are looking for a nice natural looking lightweight skin tint, then I would highly recommend this. I was so excited when they announced this. I am not disappointed. I think the packaging makes it so easy to take it on the go with you as well. I can imagine just having this in your bag or whatever you're taking, a backpack with you to the beach or something. It's so easy to blend. It also has a really nice fragrance to it. I know a load of people don't really like fragrances on their makeup products, especially your face products, because it's just going to be all over your face. And if it's very strong, then you're just probably going to be gagging on the smell of it when you're wearing it and applying it. And there we go. So you can see it's all nice, very, very glowy. I've been really into the glow lately, and this is just egging me on even more. I'm just going to put on some concealer. This is just my usual Maybelline Fit Me concealer. I don't have any new bronzers to test, so I'm deciding to go with the cream theme, and I'm using the MUA cream bronzer, and this is in the shade Mocha. Has anyone else seen the Minecraft NYX collaboration? I am so desperate to get my hands on some of the products. I did go to purchase some the other day, but then they all went out of stock and I was so distraught. I really want to get the Redstone lip oil and a couple of the blushes because I just think they're so cute, and I'm a big gamer. I do love a bit of Minecraft. So I know this sounds like a bit of a random step, but I've just started doing it and I feel like it makes my makeup last so much longer, and that is to apply the setting spray before your powder, so then the powder kind of locks it in place. Don't know if that's actually true, but I just feel like it does, so I'm gonna roll with it. For my setting spray, I'm going to be using the NYX The Face Glue setting spray. So it's basically the same as the face glue primer. Let me show you. I gotta shake it up a bit, I think. I don't know, I've just done that. It's a very, very, no, don't come back this way. It's a very fine mist, so it's not one that is gonna like attack your eyeballs or make you blind. It's very misty. With this setting spray, it says that it's transfer resistant. I do like pick up my face and rub my face on basically everything. I'm not careful with my makeup, so I don't know how it lasts, but I do think that those claims, to like in my experience, are true. Oh, I just blow something into my eye. After I apply my setting spray is when I go in with my powder. Again, not really any new powders at the moment. Well, me specifically. So I'm just going to use my usual one. This is the NARS Light Reflecting Setting Powder. I'm just going to put this under my eyes for the moment. Our next product is something that I wasn't extremely excited about, but then when I started using it, I really fell in love with it, and it is this Makeup Revolution blush palette. So it's got a cream, a powder, and a highlighter. This is what it looks like. I know it says cream at the top, but it's got its own little kind of flippy fold out protective sleeve thing. It's got its own little... Am I the only one that thinks that's so cool? When I got this, I was actually not expecting it to be as big as it was, so completely shocked. And if you are interested, this is the Icon Blush Aura Points Rose shade. I was so tempted to get the darker one, but I already have a darker shade in my collection. I was like, you know what, I'll go for this one. I don't really have much kind of rosy shade. We'll start with the cream. I'm going to go with a dense brush. This is the Real Techniques Expert face brush, and I just give it a bit of a swash. I can't get over this little... as you can see, it's not the most highly pigmented blush in the world, but I like that because I feel like if I were to have something like the Rare Beauty blush, I would genuinely be terrified to apply that, and I'll just spend more time trying to fix it and diffuse it rather than actually doing the rest of my makeup. But yeah, this is more of a nice natural blush, which I love. I love a bit of a natural moment, as you saw in my skin tint portion of this video. I feel hair. Why is just hair everywhere? With this formula as well, it's not the creamiest. It's more of a, I don't know how you'd say it. It is creamy, but it's not one that kind of melts under your finger. It's a bit more stiff. With the cream especially, it is quite easy to build up, and as I said before, quite easy to blend. Oh, I just think it's a pretty shade. So I'm going in for the powder now, taking a big old fluffy brush and then just setting all of that cream in place. I like this combination of the cream and the powder because they are two different shades. So the powder is just that tad bit, I'd say, more on a cooler tone than the cream, but together they are just such a lovely combination. And you don't even have to use it together, which I quite like the option of. They go on top of each other so nicely. It always looks like I've overdone it until I do the rest of my face. And then just before I do the highlighter from that palette, I'm just going to powder my face. And now it's time for the highlighter. I have this brush here, which is a Morphe brush. I don't know if it tells me. Oh, it does. Morphe Domed Blending. I don't know if this is the number, but I'm going to say it. S400, possibly. This is what the highlighter looking like. So it's kind of like a nice pink rose. It's got a bit of flecks of gold in it when you hold it at a certain angle, which is quite pretty. I just take a bit on my brush. I have to say, every time I apply this highlighter, I always apply too much. I just think it's such a pretty highlighter, and just paired with the blushes, it's so gorgeous, and those little hints of gold. I don't know if you can see the shine. Put a little bit under my brow. So a little bit, I've basically covered my whole eyelid in it. And there we go, that is the face products done. I'm going to give you a quick close-up of how my skin's looking so you can see the blush and the skin tint up close. You can see that obviously I've got a bit of makeup on, but it is just so natural looking. I don't think that anything is caking on my face at all, and even the highlighter, it's just so lovely. I think the highlighter is the only like non-natural looking part of this base, but the skin tint just goes so nicely. I think all of these combined just creates a perfect base. But this is what it's looking like. Double thumbs up from me. Double thumbs up. My brows have been on one lately. They just don't want to be uniformed or have a brow shape. So I've just applied some NYX the brow glue. This one is in the shade, I can't see it, but it's a clear transparent one. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of this light pink shade from the NYX Ultimate Paradise Shock palette. My next couple of new products I have are some mascaras, and I am so excited. The first one is the Maybelline Sky High Lash Sensational Mascara. This one is in the shade Green. I don't know if this is Attitude or Altitude, no idea. And the other one I actually got as a sample. This is the Benefit Bounce Bad Girl Mascara. It's in the shade Pumped Up Black. Got me eager. And I'm gonna do one mascara on each side. It may look weird depending on how green this is. It's a new style. You may have heard me mention before that I didn't really get on with the Sky High Waterproof Mascara that I have. I found that the wand was really flexible, which I don't usually get along with because my eyelashes are quite thick and heavy. It just doesn't really do much for them. So I don't know, maybe it was just a waterproof thing, and I'm hoping that this will be a lot different. So this is the applicator. It does seem quite reminiscent of the other Sky High ones. It is quite wide again, but I'm hoping that it's not as flexible as the other ones. This is being advertised around on social media as being great for green and brown eyes. I do have green eyes, so if that is, you know, true to its word, then I'm hoping that this will go good with my coloured eyes. I don't know, maybe it'll become my new favourite. So first impressions, the green shade isn't as obvious as you would expect, which I kind of like. You can tell there is a hint of colour. It's like not obviously green, but there's still a hint of it, which I think is going to help with the green and brown eyes. I have to say, the wand definitely a lot more stiffer than my waterproof mascara. So it's clumping up just a slight little bit. Okay, it goes really well for bottom lashes. I'm gonna see if I can just try and separate the clumps. I'm really not sure if you can see it on the camera, but there is a little hint of a green. If you are looking for a green mascara, like an obvious green, I wouldn't say to go for this one. It's just not obvious. But if you do look up close, there is a little hint, which I think is really lovely. Formula wise, I think it's quite nice. It wasn't as wet as I prefer, but it doesn't mean that I didn't like the formula. It was still quite nice. It wasn't as gripping on my outer lashes, which is how I kind of determine if a mascara is really good or not, but it didn't do a bad job at coating them. So all I say is not bad, a lot better than the waterproof one that I have. Right, time to go in with the Benefit Bad Gal mascara. Oh, okay. Right, this is very peculiar. It seems like there's a mixture of two different bristles. There's kind of like the thick hair bristles and the plasticky bristles on different sides. I'm confused on the shape of this. How have I lost my mirror? I've literally just had it. I've quite enjoyed some of the Benefit mascaras in the past. I haven't tried all of them, although I do have them sitting in my drawer waiting to be used because I bought like a collection bundle with a gift card that I was given. So I am eager, but yeah, I do like their mascaras. So I'm hoping this lives up to their reputation. Well, this one is definitely gripping my outer lashes. That's pretty nice. It's giving me quite a nice bit of volume at the root of my lashes. I don't know if the different type of bristles are helping in terms of separating my lashes, but it does appear to be doing that. Although I am making a bit of a mess. I think you can already tell just from looking at it how much of a difference there is between these mascaras. So I feel like with the Benefit side, there's so much more volume at the base of my roots of my lashes, which I think, not sure, but I'm thinking it's because of how the wand is, which I still can't wrap my head around. I had no idea it looks like that, but I think it looks really nice. It definitely lives up to the Benefit expectation that I have. However, for the Benefit pricings of their mascara, it's literally like, I don't know, like 20 quid or something, or 18 pounds. So I would still prefer to go for my new favorite, which you don't know my favorite. I've recently done a mascara testing, so I would watch that, but I would still prefer that just because the price point is just a lot different compared to a Benefit mascara. I think the green mascara, the Maybelline one, is very pretty. Not as much volume as I prefer, but that is a personal preference, and you do see a slight hint of green. I'm not sure if you can see it now that I've got the like blackest mascara on my eye, but I feel like it is emphasizing the green. I don't know, like, can you see? If I do that, is my eye more green on that side? Is that helping? I don't even know. Lastly, we have another kind of tinty product, and these are the Maybelline Superstay Teddy Tints. I have two of the shades. The reddish one is 30 in Coquettish. I'll have it on the screen. And this one is number 10 in Current Mood. I really like the packaging of these lipsticks. It feels very soft and very easy to grip because of the like bubbliness of the packaging. And then if you were to pull it out, very clean packaging, by the way. It's just a kind of usual doe foot. Smells nice. Smells really nice, actually. Then all Maybelline products do tend to smell really nice. I'm unsure which one to test. So what if I go for like a Kim Possible moment and do like one shade on one lip and then the other shade on the other lip, and then we can experiment and see what they look like together? Yes, I think that's a great idea. Do you know what? Whatever one lands in my right hand, I'm going to use first. I've also recently started doing my lipstick from the top first, literally like a couple of days ago, and I feel like it looks so much better compared to when I start at the bottom. I'm not entirely sure if you saw it there, but this is more of a moussey formula, I would say. I found with this formula, it's not the most pigmented in the world. Like if you were to look at this, you'd think it would be like a dark, deep red, but I feel like it's more of a muted, pastel-y red, if you could describe it as that. Because it's not as intense as you would expect, I feel like it makes it seem quite patchy as well. And I don't know if it's because it's trying to get that tint across, but it's definitely not as vibrant as you would expect. So we'll go in with the lighter shade on my bottom lip. So can you see there? It takes a bit to get all of the colour on your lip. It feels like there's not a lot of product on the applicator when you try and put it on your lip. So there you go. This is what it looks like. The top lip, as you saw, was the darker red shade, the number 31, and then the bottom lip was the number 10 shade. That's quite a nice shade, actually. I call it number 20. In terms of these tints, I feel like they're not the easiest products to use, especially compared to the NYX Lip IV ones. I feel like the formula is like flowing out, like it's all over your mouth. Whereas with this, it takes a while for the product to actually come out on your lip. So it's not as vibrant as you would expect. It's definitely a lot more muted. They are also a little bit on the heavier side, which I wouldn't expect, but they are proper solid. I'm not the greatest fan of these, but they're also not the worst things I've ever tried. But this is the completed look for today. I really do hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for getting ready with me. I hope that this was helpful in some way. I would love if you would let me know if you're going to plan on pick something up, or if you've changed your mind about something, or if you have any other questions about any of the products that I haven't addressed. I would happily respond to you in the comments. And apart from that, I will see all of you in my next one.